Now more than ever, innovative technologies are fueling change and sparking new ways of thinking. Collaboration between corporations and startups is key to staying at the forefront of these trends. However, finding the right startups can be expensive, time-consuming, and ineffective. But Plug and Play is here to help. As a corporate partner, you will gain access to a whole ecosystem of innovation. Discover startups that meet your tech interests. Stay updated on the latest trends and network with industry peers. We will help you during every stage of your innovation journey, no matter where you are and where you want to go. Get in touch today.
Welcome everybody to this second half of our Expo Day here out of Vienna. We are very proud to have you dialing in. Welcome everybody who dialed in newly, probably from Silicon Valley. Thank you for getting up so early for us. And thank you for all the Asian Pacific folks to stay awake so late with us. So, second half of the day, a quick reminder, everyone who you're gonna see on stage today is tested, so don't be afraid, we're all safe and sound. Second topic I would like to touch upon is that today we will talk about the future of travel post-COVID, obviously, and these current times of transition, as we like to call it, are known to set new standards and rules, regulations, and we can observe that these new standards came to stay. So a resilient industry, let's imagine, is characterized obviously by being flexible and adapting to the new situation. And we from Plug and Play can truly say, working with the largest players in the travel industry, that the travel industry has really certainly done so and redefined and reviewed its service offerings and role. And we are very proud to be part of that adaptation and transition to the new normal post-COVID. So in order to adapt to these new standards, the most dominant topics of our corporate partners in this year, so in the past 6 months, have been implementing new health standards, obviously, increasing operational efficiency, diversifying revenue streams, and making the passenger journey more seamless than ever before. And this happened, obviously, you wouldn't be with Plug and Play if I wouldn't say that, with the support of the smartest and most innovative startup solutions around the globe. Industry leaders have proven that they are competitive, and they set the competitive advantage by making the travel industry truly resilient, adapting to post-COVID standards together with startups. We are super proud that we are part of this. And today you will get exclusive insights into the pilot projects of these corporations, large corporations, startups from around the globe. You will get exclusive insights into our VCs and obviously the corporate strategies of the second half of the year. Where are we heading to? What's the plan? What's the strategies? And most importantly, a nice trend, high-level talk about the topic of the future of travel and seamless passenger journeys. I'm extremely excited to have you today, and I assume Ben is as excited as I am.
I'm probably even more excited to be here and for the session. Like, the morning session was already so much fun. I cannot wait to see the travel session.
Yeah, so Ben has a couple of words to share with you, and then we're gonna dive right into the show.
I promise, it's really only going to be a couple of words. I just want to also say a warm welcome to everyone dialing in, everyone that didn't join us in the morning, but just dialed in now. I mentioned it earlier today, it is incredible that we were able to gather so many of our partners finally again in person here in Vienna. I cannot wait to also have like our Silicon Valley team, everyone from overseas, also with a live audience. I think this is going to be the last event without a live audience, but still we are going to do our best to make you at home also feel like you are here with us, and to make it very interactive and very much fun. Just like this morning, we can actually start this session with the new partner announcement. We have a new partner joining our travel vertical, and I cannot wait to introduce you to them. Our new partner is based in Rome, Italy. Please welcome with me Aeroporti di Roma, or easier for me to pronounce, ADR. Please welcome Emanuele. Emanuele, welcome on board. We cannot wait to kick off this partnership, and unfortunately you couldn't make it in person today. I know there's a lot going on in Rome at the moment. Traffic is picking up again, which is obviously a great thing, but welcome. Thank you for dialing in.
Thank you. Hi, Ben. Hi, everyone. I'm sorry, but I have to stay here in Rome, but happy to be with you. So, I'm Emanuele Calà, Vice President of Innovation and Quality of Aeroporti di Roma. I'm thrilled to announce this new partnership with a global plug-and-play network that will enhance our opportunity to be in touch with startups and great ideas that make our world a better place to live in. As you well know, our industry was strongly impacted by the pandemic, having more than 80% less of out usual traffic, and we had to quickly adapt to new normals and standards that came out just a couple of hours before. This industry was a strong resilience, but it's important to rethink the way we run our terminal. Seamless travel, AI, automation are just some of the new technologies that will disrupt the way we travel in the future. Furthermore, airports in the next years will have a fundamental role in addressing, minimizing, and mitigating the environmental impacts of aviation. Being ACI Europe Best Airport for 3 years in a row put us in a unique position in terms of competencies and know-how that the global network can reach out to. Me and our CEO, Mr. Marco Troncone, and all my colleagues are working as one to deploy a unique open innovation strategy with the goal to help startup group, thanks to our smart city context that can provide all the technologies and ideas you can think of. Obviously, a lot about aviation, but we can move above and beyond our industry. So our mission is to keep the same quality and excellence that we have achieved in terms of experience, having the passenger at the center of our activity, even with the fruitful collaboration with the startup that we are sure we help them grow too, and we let define and solve lots of challenges that our industry is facing, especially with this pandemic that we hope will be just a bad dream shortly. So in the next month, we will open our first deal flow, thanks to Plug and Play Network. Let's work together for a digital and sustainable way of travel and a concrete restart for all the industry.
Thank you, Emanuele. We actually just came back last Friday from Rome to meet the entire team there in person, and I mean, like, it's not only a super nice airport and really fun, also the team is really great. I think like we haven't seen that all that often, how well structured they are, how well organized, and how ambitious their strategy is. So I really cannot wait to properly kick off the partnership and see all the cool projects that will result from them. Thank you, Emanuele. Cannot wait to also welcome you in Vienna sometime soon.
Sure. Thank you, Ben.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.
All right, so that's our new partner, Aeroporti di Roma, an awesome new partner. And now we are moving on to the trend report. Please welcome with me my colleague Michele, who will tell us about the latest trends in travel and hospitality.
Hello again. For the people that just dialed in, I am Michele, the new venture analyst here in our Vienna office. And of course, I'm super excited to be here. This event was great up until now, and hopefully it will be as great also in the coming couple of hours. Now, today I would like to talk about travel, in particular about seamless travel. as we all know, travel is a stressful process. It is particularly stressful right now, given the whole situation that we all know. And it's also more stressful if you, like me, tend to forget your toothbrush every place you go. Now, unfortunately, about the toothbrush, there is not much that you can do, but we can really work a lot to improve the travel experience while making the process more safe, both in terms of general safety and health safety, and more also revenue generating, so increasing the revenue generation for all the parties involved. Now, to showcase how I think we can achieve this ambitious goal, I would like to quickly walk you through how I envision the journey, the travel experience for an air traveler in a future that hopefully won't be too far from now. Now, the new travel experience starts from home. Thankfully, we have solutions like Sherpa that help us understanding what are the health requirements and what is the general procedure that we have to go through to enter in a new country. Also, from the comfort of our home, we can already check in our luggage and have them sent to our destination thanks to companies like Fraport. Now that I already checked in my luggage and I am a bit less stressed about the regulation that I have to follow to enter in my destination country, I can walk to the airport or go by bus to the airport. And the first thing that I will have to do there is the security check. Now, this is probably one of the major pain points of the traveler experience, but it's vital for airports to make this process as quick and as safe as possible. It's important to maintain it, to keep it quick, because every second that we don't spend in a queue for the security checks is a second that we spend in the shopping area or in the food hall of the airport. And these are seconds that will be used to generate more revenue for the airport. Now, to make it quick and safe, we have companies like TrueFace, for example, that is a company that basically enables existing camera infrastructure to implement facial recognition, object detection, and temperature detection as well. And by the way, they were very recently acquired by a major player in the industry, so well done to them. They participated to one of our selection days last year. And now we passed the security checks. We finally enter in the shopping area and in the food hall, and here we can really go crazy with the solutions to increase revenues. First thing, what I would really like to see in an airport is to have a cashierless shop. So basically, being able to buy my souvenirs in a shop just by scanning my phone, entering, grabbing everything that I want, and scanning my phone back. And this, a part of being very, a futuristic experience, so it really improves the customer experience of being part of an air travel. It also increases the amount of data that airports will be able to gather if compared to regular POS. Now, another very cool thing that we do nowadays in an airport is to order our food and have it delivered at our gate or even at our airport seat. We can do that thanks to companies such as At Your Gate. Now, finally, I did my security check, I did my shopping, I ate my meal, and now I finally can take off. But unfortunately, since I'm traveling to a very small island in Greece, I have to do a step over. And the second flight is not operated by a carrier under the same alliance of the first flight. So until a while ago, this could have been a problem, because this could have been a very stressful event. But nowadays, thanks to companies such as Airsiders, we, as travelers, we are able to, we are guided to the second part of our travel, and we really feel that this experience is a part of, the same process. Finally, I am arrived in Greece in this case. I can enjoy my beer, and hopefully I also gave you an idea on how I envision the future of travel. With that said, I also invite you to scan this QR code that you would see close to my face somewhere, and this will redirect you to an ebook that our team put together about seamless traveling. It's very interesting. It's worth it. Please download it. And with that said, I welcome on stage again my colleague Nick, and I wish you all a happy continuation of the Expo Day. Thank you.
Welcome everyone again. It's the second part of our Expo Day, and I'm really thrilled to be back here with you in front of the screens. And I'm also thrilled to talk about pilot projects of our awesome travel and hospitality corporate partners. And you know what? Let's not waste any time. Let's dive right into it. And I'm really excited to welcome Thomas Dvorak from the Vienna International Airport here with me on stage.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Hi, Thomas. It's great having you with us. Thomas, I know that you've been quite busy, and I hope that we kept you quite busy over the past couple of months, which is good. But it also means that there were a lot of pilot projects, and I know that you will be talking about too, that came out of this. So we're really excited to hear about that. I know you've brought some slides, so I will hand over to you.
Not too much slides here.
Please take it away, Thomas.
Thank you. We have actually two problems. We try to tackle two problems which every traveler has. We had this thing about baggage. Everyone is trying to get rid of his baggage as early as possible. So we already thought about how can we deal with that. Actually, we were part of the first co-creation lab of the Vienna Business Agency with exactly this challenge. How can we solve this problem? We had quite a lot of interesting talks with startups then, but didn't get too far. Fortunately, we came across Airport with the Plug and Play partnership last year, started to talk, and are really keen on really starting with them in the next couple of months. Obviously, travel is not where it should be, especially in Vienna, which is a congress city with a lot of conferences and international tourists, which is not in place already. So we are preparing to start as soon as tourism is coming up again in Vienna. Randall from Airport has a short message for us.
Hello everyone, Randall here from Airporter. I'm really excited to be able to share with you news that, having struck up discussions with the team at Vienna International Airport last year, as part of Plug and Play, we are now actively working on plans to implement the Airporter product in the market. Now, it hasn't been the easiest time to be doing this because of the ongoing challenges faced by the international travel community. However, with Vienna, we found a perfect partner. We bring together our respective skill sets and competencies, with the airport on the operational side and all the depth of experience and expertise in that field, and then with Airporter, with the ability to digitalize all of these physical processes and to turn it into a very slick user experience and proposition that enables passengers to have their bags checked in from addresses in the city. So with the team at Vienna, as I say, we've been able to work in a surprisingly agile way to focus on a number of areas, adapting and developing compliant workflows and processes that bring together, as I say, the physical and the digital processes, we've been actively running dialogue with key stakeholders, such as the Transport Ministry, to secure the necessary regulatory approvals or consents to operate the product in the market, and then engaging with the airline community at the airport to secure participation in the proposition when we launch to maximize success. Those are, some pretty sizable initiatives. And I think, to their credit, the guys at Vienna International Airport always look to find the quickest and lowest friction pathway to implementing a solution, which is just critical in this environment. So as I say, we're now racing towards a POC in the Austrian market, and together, as I say, complementing the team at Vienna International Airport's vision to be one of the greenest and safest airports in Europe. So we're really excited to see this come to fruition later this year. And big thank you to all the teams at Vienna Airport who have been involved.
Well, thank you so much, Randall. Thomas, I know that you and your team were spearheading this initiative and that you've been in touch and, as Randall said, working quite extensively with them. I mean, Airport, it is an incredibly great service for all the passengers, but it also involves a lot of logistical effort. And it is within a city, right? A complex thing, as we heard earlier today. So how will you actually manage the services and operations from Airporter?
Well, actually, we have one big advantage here in Vienna. We have a city airport train, which is obviously one of their levers to really get the baggage from the city to the airport. As soon as it takes operation again, we will start, hopefully, also with this service. And from current point of view, we are trying to set up this with our own employees. We have quite some resources ready for that, to really pick up the baggage somewhere in the city, bring it to the city center where we can put it into the train and afterwards bring it to the airport. If the POC is successful and the service, what I hope and I think, will be lasting, we plan to go with electrical vehicles.
Okay,
so in the end, it should be carbon neutral. The transport, at least from the hotel or the home from the travelers to the airport, should be carbon neutral.
That's great. I mean, you're also in a unique position, right, to have the possibility, and this is already live for many years, I guess, right? The baggage drop-off in the city center. Yeah. This is just something that is not the case for every airport, and I think this is a great resource that you use to really speed up the process of airport and implement this pilot project. And it is a cool team. It is a cool startup. We've been working with them. We are super excited. I'm also super excited about it.
I also want to thank Randall and this team for the cooperation. It's really great to work with them. Yeah.
Perfect. It's not the only one, though, and I'm handing over again to you because it is time for the second one.
Yeah, the second challenge every traveler faces is in the airport, cabin baggage checking. Something no one really likes. And of course there is some discussions going on with passengers, especially if their cabin baggage is not compliant to the regulations of the airline. Every airline has its own regulations. So we came across eye-boardings last year at the last Expo day here in Vienna, actually. Jose, who's really nice, came to Vienna with his car, and one of these, he will tell the story afterwards. So, but it was good because it's really convincing to see this device in action, and we hope that in the next couple of weeks we can put it into operations here in Vienna. And Jose has also a short story for us.
Hello, everyone. My name is José Luis Cámara. I'm the CEO and founder of iBoardings. iBoardings is a Spanish company who designs solutions for solving airports and airlines pain points. We knew Plug and Play last year, and we participate in the last Travel and Hospitality Innovation Program in Vienna. For us, that program has been really important because we had the opportunity to meet great companies like Fraport, like Star Alliance, and Vienna Airport. When this Travel and Innovation program happened last year, I went to Vienna with a device. Our main product, it is the cabin baggage checker. We designed the cabin baggage checker in order to help airlines and airports to introduce innovation in one of the most outdated process in the airport flow. That's the process in which the airlines want to control the weight and the size of the carry-on baggage. You know that if you go to an airport, you will find a metal sizer to develop that process, and we have designed a machine that introduced AI and computer vision to develop the whole process in a totally different way. Last year in Vienna, I had the opportunity to show personally our solution to Julian Jaeger, the CEO from Vienna Airport. And as you know better than me, how difficult for a startup is to have the opportunity to show your solution to that kind of high-level person in a company. For that reason, for me, regarding Vienna Airport was really important. It was really awesome to have that opportunity. And from that moment on, my relation with Vienna Airport has been really incredible. Julian Jaeger introduced me to Christopher Kocher, the one in charge of passenger process at the Vienna Airport, and we started to plan the POC. I would like to thank you to Thomas, the head of innovation in Vienna Airport, for his help in this matter. I really hope that you can see our cabin baggage checker around the Vienna Airport in the coming months. The only thing I can say is thank you, Plug and Play, thank you, Vienna Airport, and thank you to all the companies that I had the opportunity to meet during the Plug and Play travel and innovation program. For us, has been a great opportunity to grow as a company. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jose. I mean, it's also from our side, it's always great to work with so committed startups. And I can remember the time when he called me and said, "Nick, I'm here now. I have the machine in the back of my car," and he drove for, I don't know, 9 hours or 10 hours all the way from Spain to Austria. So it's incredible. So keep up the good work, Jose and the team of iBoardings. And speaking of work, I know that this is hardware especially, is something that you need to test, that you need to implement. It's not that easy like software. What are the next steps in the collaboration with iBoardings and Jose?
Well, we already had a lot of things to do up front, all the regulations checked, and now we are setting up the processes, especially the configuration should not be done by any IT guys, so should be done by the passenger handlers themselves. So we are preparing a training and also the introduction to the devices to the passenger handlers, and hopefully we can get it up and running in the next couple of weeks.
That's great. So everyone, keep tuned. There will be some machines hopefully standing around Vienna International Airport quite soon. Thomas, thank you so much for your time. Thank you very much for presenting the pilot projects. I know it's not everything. It's not all you do. There is still much more. But that's up for next event, I would say, right?
Of course, yes.
Perfect.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Thomas.
Bye.
All right, everyone. So we are hopping into the plane, since we're in the airport anyway, and flying to Frankfurt. And I'm really delighted to welcome Klaus Grunow, who is the VP of Corporate Strategy and Digitalization of Fraport. Klaus, welcome. You're here with us.
Hi, Nick. Thanks for having me.
It is great. I mean, it's events in person. That's something that I think we were all really craving, and finally it's happening again. So it is great that you took the time and flew to Vienna. So welcome to also your Expo Day, basically.
Thank you, Nick. It's great to be back here in Vienna today.
Klaus, I know that you've been one of the most active corporate partners at Plug and Play at the moment. There are a lot of pilot projects launching and being implemented and also being continued, which is always great to see because this means that the work of the ventures team and of your team is actually really paying off. And I think you've prepared some slides for us. I think you prepared a little presentation, and you can share a little bit about your pilot project.
I will.
Perfect. Stage is yours.
Thank you. So last time when I was here was in late summer of 2020, actually, to launch our partnership with Plug and Play. And that in the middle of the pandemic. And back then I had the honor to give a keynote in the middle of the darkest year ever, with the traffic being down like 90% and considering that it wasn't going to get any better over the winter time. And my message back then was that we do have the will to win. And we wanted to use the pandemic to invest in our digitalization and innovation. And over the next few minutes, I get to tell you how we moved forward. We developed our new digitalization and innovation strategy called DAISY last year. Our understanding of digitalization is much broader than purely technical. For us, it is about the way we manage processes. Traditionally, as a safety-oriented company, we are not very flexible in this respect. And it's also about mindset. In other words, our attitude. Who makes decisions? Who takes ownership and responsibility? Both top management and the team agreed that we need to take action here. With our level of digital maturity, we simply don't have an answer to the evolving future, especially since the volatility of this future is likely to be significantly higher post-corona than before. That is why we are clearly focusing on speed in our digitalization and innovation strategy. It's all about fast and visible results. To take the entire group along on this journey, we have established the Digital Factory. In this Digital Factory, we take over the fields of action from the business units and develop MVPs together with our IT colleagues and the business units in 3 months, without frills, and very clearly structured. We always work according to the same blueprint. We gather the requirements of the business unit in a structured way, and we transfer them to clear objectives for the project. What is to be achieved, and how can we measure its success? We then share the resulting brief with Plug and Play, and on this basis, Ben and Nick and your team are searching for suitable solution partners worldwide. From Plug and Play's list, we select providers and invite them to a 30-minute pitch. After that, we ask for offers from our favorites, and less than 4 weeks into the project, we award the contract. And another 10 weeks later, the MVP is ready and tested in live operations. Let's have a look at some of our projects so far. We solved the issue on how to count passengers in our terminal and predict their movements across the terminal with 2 partners, with Sensolytic and Blickfeld. For the counting, we are using LiDAR sensors and adoption of technology from the automotive sector. We are reusing that technology and both partners from that project for our first international activity of the Digital Factory in the US. There, we are trying to gain insights from analyzing sales data in order to improve retail offers and our tenant management. Another great learning results from our project with AI side. We implemented a predictive maintenance solution for our baggage conveyor system. It proved to be very successful. However, it's still the only one we were not to continue beyond the MVP due to capacity and financial constraints. That's also part of the game, stopping a project at an early stage. I was happy to read this morning that AI side is now the solution provider for predictive maintenance at a DHL facility, sorting all urgent packages in Germany. I wish you guys great success. Our yield pricing project is conducted with a consortium of Quinta Covi. But let's look at the last two projects on this page. As you all know, cargo business has been huge over the last month. Frankfurt Airport, as Europe's largest cargo hub, is up more than 10% to our pre-crisis volume. Until recently, every freight forwarder entering our cargo city had to physically register upon arrival at our gate. The process easily took 10 minutes each, and we have more than 10,000 vehicles entering every week. Together with our Austrian partner, Arrivo, we set up a number plate recognition system where you pre-register prior to arrival, and the gate opens practically as soon as you approach it. That way, we reduced the waiting time our visitors need to spend for that process by 10 years each calendar year. I brought along a short message from Arrivo.
Ja, hallo, mein Name ist Dominik von Arrivo und wir haben gemeinsam mit dem Fraport und der Digital Factory vom Fraport das Projekt Kennzeichenerkennung und Anmeldung für Besucher in der Cargo City Süd umgesetzt. Und die Zusammenarbeit haben wir als extremst positiv und vor allem auch professionell empfunden. Der Fraport hat da wirklich mit einem großen Projektteam sehr effizient in kurzer Zeit gemeinsam mit uns dieses Projekt umgesetzt und eben auch mit den unterschiedlichen Fachabteilungen extrem gut unterstützt, sodass da in Corona-Zeiten auch sehr, sehr viel wirklich remote gut funktioniert hat. Was uns besonders für so einen großen Konzern fasziniert hat, wie schnell das Ganze auch alles funktioniert hat. Das heißt wirklich von Projektstart bis zur finalen Umsetzung waren das wirklich nur wenige Wochen. Und ja, es waren doch sehr viele Player von IT über Datenschutz ja, im Spiel. Und das hat aber wirklich alles extremst gut hingehauen.
Our latest development is an ID card machine to hand out access cards after registration and verification. As the size of our airport is approximately 45 times the Vatican, the time to get to the one office where you can actually pick up those ID cards today can easily consume an hour. With the ID card machine, we'll be able to decentralize the issuance process and save a tremendous amount of time for our employees and partners. The project is carried out together with a Malaga-based company of iBoardings, and as I understood, they were on stage right before. That's true. And Jose, the founder and CEO, has another message for you.
Hi everyone, my name is Jose Luis Cámara. I'm the CEO and founder of iBoardings. In iBoardings, we build solutions for solving airports and airline pain points. Thank you very much, Plug and Play, for introducing me to Fraport. Thank you very much for this opportunity, and a special thanks to Klaus Bruno for taking the time to meeting me last year in Vienna. Thank you very much for that, Klaus, and see you soon in Frankfurt. The project we are undertaking right now with Fraport is an incredible opportunity for us to mature as a company and collaborate with one of the most important airport operators in the world. Fraport Digital Factory team is incredibly smart, and I'm really surprised about the availability and agility in launching new projects. Thank you to all the members of the Fraport team, and especially to Richard, Ulrich, and of course, thank you very much, Klaus and Plug and Play. Bye.
Thank you very much, Jose. And yeah, Klaus, you just introduced us to one of many pilot projects that you did, and it's great to see that Jose is not only active in Vienna but also active at Fraport, and it also shows how versatile the solution is and how flexible the startups are that you in the end as a big corporation engage with.
Absolutely.
That's great. But speaking of big corporation. I mean, Fraport is a rather big, let's say, ecosystem of different players working together. And you just introduced us to the digital factory. This is something that is not common everywhere, and I'd really like to know how the digital strategy actually fits into the overall strategy of Fraport.
Yeah, what we see in the years to come is a tremendous change in mobility in general. Yeah. And we might see air taxis as soon as 2024. Keep my fingers crossed for that hopefully. One. I'm pretty sure that we will have autonomous cars or autonomous vehicles in general being the standard. And we'll all be using mobility as a service solutions. So there will be a huge change. And for us as an airport group, that means that we need a much higher adaptability in our business units or business models and a faster execution of change. And both aspects are addressed by the digital factory when it comes to the mindset and the change of mindset in our corporation. And with our focus on quick MVPs within 3 months, the change becomes visible and tangible. And that's going to be relevant for the whole group.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's, we already had chat before, you walked on stage basically, and our entire team here at Plug and Play also, we work together with your team of the Digital Factory quite on a regular basis, and it is incredible what kind of speed they bring to the table and how easy it is to really implement pilot projects and MVPs, as you said. And I think this really fits to the overall strategy of saying, yeah, we need to become a more interconnected mobility hub in the future. And also fingers crossed for the air taxis. I'm really rooting for them. But it's not just Frankfurt Airport. You, as Fraport, operate 30 international airports. And I'm interested to know if your strategy, if this digital factory and the digital initiatives that you have, are you also planning on launching them on the different airports that you operate, or is it just something that is just reserved and exclusive to Frankfurt Airport?
Yeah, absolutely, and happily, digitalization does not end at the airport's fence. So we are looking for each and every successful MVP. We are looking at opportunities to scale the solution internationally or even globally. And we are not limited to Frankfurt as a place for the MVP either. So there might be another chance to start MVPs at one of our foreign and less complex airports and bring back the solution to Frankfurt at a later and more developed stage. So I'm pretty sure there's quite a lot of opportunity in the whole Fraport ecosystem, and I'm looking forward to many, many more projects with you, Nick.
Hopefully, yeah. I'm also looking forward to it. And I know that you also have some airports that are next to the seaside. So let's maybe start with some MVPs there for the beginning.
Quite a few nice ones in Greece.
All right, I'll take you up on that. Let's also cross the fingers for some MVP projects in Greece. Klaus, thank you so much for sharing what you and your team have been up to. What your digital factory is all about, and also what the outlook of the upcoming months are. So I'm really excited to working with you for the next few months. There are a lot of pilot projects in the pipeline. I already know that, and this is something that we can hopefully disclose in the next Expo Day.
Absolutely.
Perfect, yeah. And for now, Klaus, thank you so much for being here, and also please enjoy Vienna and our office here. Thank you, Klaus.
Thank you, Nick.
All right, everyone. This was Fraport and a really interesting model and structure that they have with the digital factory. And now we're moving on to a very, very elaborate panel discussion. And I'm super excited to listen to that. And I'm excited also to introduce Katrin Hansel, who will be moderating the panel quite shortly. So stay tuned for it.
Ist ja ihr Heimspiel. Hello and welcome to our second trend talk focusing on the travel industry. I'm now going to talk about the current situation in the travel and aviation industry, as well as about the seamless passenger journey with the following panelists. Julian Jäger, COO, Vienna Airport. With around 20 years of experience in the aviation industry, he's a true aviation expert. He held various management positions, including CEO of Malta Airport, and he has been a member of the management board at Vienna Airport for 10 years. Welcome. Ralf Gaffal, Managing Director at Munich Airport. He has been working in the aviation sector for more than 17 years, with loads of experience in airport planning, operations and management. Since 2010, he has been leading Munich Airport. Thanks for joining us. Göklü Batkin, CEO of TAF Operation Services. He's dialing in straight from Istanbul, Turkey. Hello and welcome. He's been working for TAF Operation Services for 16 years and has experience in all aspects of airport industry. TAF Operation Service is a leading travel and airport hospitality company and is part of the group ADP. Last but not least, we've got Bart Severwins, Chief Experience Officer at Brussels Airport. He held various management positions in the financing and banking industry before joining Brussels Airport Company in 2017. Dialing in straight from Brussels Airport. Welcome, Bart.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
The tourism economy has been heavily hit by the COVID pandemic and its measures introduced to contain its spread. So it was crucial to be as flexible as possible, as well as having the capability to adapt to a new environment. So Julian, what's the significance, or what significance did business resilience in the past year have for Vienna Airport?
I think our resilience was tested in many ways and in many aspects. Obviously, in financial terms, we were in the lucky position that we had nearly no debt as Vienna Airport PLC, and therefore came so far quite well through the crisis. I think as an organization, as a team, we still need to be very resilient because, I mean, essentially, we've been spoiled with success for the last 10 years with one record year after the other in terms of passenger numbers, in terms of financial performance. And obviously, I mean, our shareholders were happy, our customers were happy, our employees were happy. And now for the last 14 months, we are in a situation where we are in complete untested ground, essentially. And when this crisis started, I think the whole aviation industry looked back, and we've seen many crises before, from the financial crisis, SARS, MERS, the September 11th, and whatever we looked at, yes, it was a kind of crisis, but 6 months, minus 10% in passenger numbers, and then things were going on. So at the beginning, there was a complete misjudgment, and first we thought, okay, summer might be tough, but then from winter on, things will be improved. Then winter wasn't that good. We had essentially a lockdown for 6 months, so we'll be looking for this summer. Now, summer is here, as we all experience, and passengers are not. So I think it's for every organization, it's very difficult, and I think especially because what we are seeing around us, that there are industries which are booming, because of the pandemic to a certain extent, and things go back to normal except for the aviation and the tourism industry, and therefore our resilience was really tested in many ways. I think so far we came pretty well through the crisis. I think we are all looking forward to shape the aviation industry in a new way, and we were just discussing before, to a certain extent, it's ground zero or year zero for the aviation industry. We can't take anything for granted, but at the same time, there are lots of opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Göklü, how did you benefit from running a resilient business in the past year?
Thank you, Catherine. Aviation and hospitality are both naturally resilient sectors due to many previous crisis experiences. So being in both sectors are quite challenging indeed. Yet here we are working hard to do our part to build the travelers' confidence back. It is required to be agile and adaptive if you're in the airport and travel hospitality business. We put a great effort towards our people empowerment to increase their capability and flexibility. And as a result, we become more resilient. How we reacted in our operations during the pandemic, that was a great sign of this resilience. Our core operational lounges were closed for a long time. People stopped traveling. We were worried about the health of our people. Therefore, we created a communication platform which information flow was followed by all the functional leaders. So decisions were given fast and business continuity was sustained even under difficult conditions while making sure our people kept healthy. We also created an online learning management system where we continuously train and educate our people about the health and safety regulation in each specific country we're in. We also utilize this platform for the training of our staff, continuously improving their skills in today's challenging travel market. As I mentioned before, we have been through difficult times in the past, which we learned from. So we managed to control our costs with mitigation plans and optimize the regular operations with similar approach, without sacrificing the health of our people and customers.
All right, thank you. Bart, what methods have you developed in-house for running a truly resilient airport?
It's the word of the year is resilience to a certain extent. Maybe shortly, when we hear the word resilience for us, there are three things which are important, and I would like to mention. For me, the first thing is what I call people resilience. And I really want to mention this explicitly. It's of course not a method we deploy internally, but it's amazing. It's really amazing what people do in such an environment, in such a circumstance, such a pandemic more than a year. And for me, it really ultimately will depend on people. So from that perspective, the people resilience is something which really gets the highest attention. It's so difficult. Some people more than a year at home in total. And for me, it's important to mention this at first. It's the first thing that comes up to mind. Then secondly, and this is a bit specific, but still so relevant, and it kind of demonstrates the difficulty also in this changing time where there is no standard, there is no normal. While your passengers go down, it was already mentioned, of course, also by Ben, to 10-20%, the operational challenge to manage this correctly while the volumes are so low is so high, because what we see, there is no history. There are no rules. Things are different compared to the past. So in the past, we were focusing a lot on kind of predicting what behavior we would have. And all forecasting models, even operationally, you can see they did not work anymore. So what we did was focusing a lot, really, in this environment, even to work on data, because history and belly feeling did not work, to really increase the quality of our prediction models in order to be able to cope with the operational challenge. And this for us might sound for many people maybe a bit strange because the volumes are so low. It was really key to get through the crisis and to work as efficiently as possible while making sure the passenger experience was as high as possible. Which brings me to the third point, of course, financial resilience. And in such a crisis, what helps, in my view, some decisions are just easier to take. Some things just become more clear. And for us, the need for diversification and not depend that much on passengers even became more clear. And just, it's a small example, but still is important. Even during this pandemic, we created our own separate company, Airport Intelligence, only to increase the focus on diversifying revenues, which is, of course, something very small compared to the overall financial situation, but it shows the management attention and the direction we want to take.
So we heard at home office and the entire new work model gained popularity during the pandemic. Ralf, what measures have you taken and what role actually do startup collaborations play in this?
I think the aviation industry, especially airports, I would say they use a very traditional, old-school work environment, right? Because everybody has his own office and most of the people are showing up at work every day. I think here we really had to catch up, and of course this pandemic forced us to react very quickly last year. So we have equipped everybody possible with all the work, home office equipment. We sent people home. And we also had to do that because of a business resilience perspective, because we had to separate teams. Because if people are infected due to the quarantine rules, we didn't want to run into an airport shutdown because we have an infection in certain critical teams. So we have introduced a home office. A lot of people were skeptical in the beginning, also a lot of management colleagues, especially the older generations. But we have found out that it works really, really well, that people are also liking it very much. Of course, you save a lot of travel time every day when you go to the airport, and some people in our company have driving times of 1 hour for one distance. So you save a lot of time. On the other side, they can work much some more concentrated. And on the other side, we had to do video conferencing anyway. I think now after 12 months, I have to say, it's good to see people again in a personal way. I think people got now also tired of home office only. And now I'm sure it will swing in to a certain extent. And we will keep that home office regulation in place. But of course also make sure that people show up as soon as possible or as often as possible. Startups, in that sense, I think we have not worked with for the home office, but we are working with certain startups, mostly right now in the area of CO2 and climate change. We have been developing certain technologies for our ground equipment with startups, and we want to do much more in that respect. We have been doing most of the innovations, or let's say new technology items in-house in the past, also very traditional. But now we want to focus much more in collaborating with startups. And for that reason, I think Plug and Play is a great partner.
Mm-hmm. Bart, did you focus on innovation during the crisis? And if so, what are the benefits of doubling down on innovation approach?
Well, as I mentioned already, making choices is easier in a crisis for us than before. So that's one thing to mention. In reality, we really stopped most of the innovation, but still some things continued. Practical things which we believe in, going forward for things which strategically are important. One of the things, for instance, is we invested a lot in innovation for drones. We did even a first proof of concept with beyond visual line of sight to be able to operate drones. Is one of the things we do. I guess it will not be a secret that working on drones definitely is considered one of the key elements to see how it evolves going forward. So in this kind of things, we did a proof of concept. We also invested in 5G because we believe connectivity is so key, and 5G in our business and everything related to not passengers, but for sure logistics and connectivity. So this was something we did. And for me, which is a bit strange, but I also consider it as innovation. The way we reacted on some kind of pandemic needs by just putting a mobile lab in the middle of the just outside the airport, in the middle of what we call the curb, where your passengers come, really a mobile lab where in fact, in only a few months in total, we're able to do almost 300,000 PCR tests only to support passengers, although the activity itself exists, but putting it in that environment, in a very complex structure, in fact, taking into account all the stakeholders and so on, for me, I consider this also a little bit as innovation. So that's what we did.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I now want to talk about the future and how traveling will look like in times of post-corona. So times of transition are known to set new rules and standards, and we often observe that these new standards came to stay. So Julian, do you think that those new COVID-related processes at airports or even in the aviation industry in general will remain?
To be honest, I don't hope so, because I think we talk a lot about digitalization in society, and what we see today in aviation and in traveling is the exact opposite. And I think one of the main issues is definitely in Europe, and I think in many other places in the world as well, that essentially digitalization has been reduced, automatization has been reduced. I mean, just to name one example, but check-in today looks different than 18 months ago. I mean, the check-in process today in Vienna airport takes 4 times the time it used to. Automated processes where passengers do check-in themselves don't work because the check-in agent has to check the PCR test or a pre-travel clearance and things like that. So a lot of things have stopped. And secondly, health checks, which were non-issue before the pandemic, obviously now play a huge and very important part. And unfortunately, all over Europe, we don't see any coordination about that. So I think that there would be a huge opportunity for the European Union to streamline the Schengen entry process and the health checks. Today, every member state of the European Union has different demands to travelers. One needs an antigen test, another one a PCR test, others a special PCR test. Everybody has different pre-travel clearances. So what we see, and to be perfectly honest, I think governments and bureaucrats hardly use digitalization. So all the systems I've seen are really a disaster. And recently there's been a study of ACI. They say the best case or the best cases to look at in terms of digitalization and pre-travel clearance is Spain and Greece. Not necessarily countries known for good governance and things like that. So I think a lot of countries in Europe should pull up their socks essentially and get their act together to have a common process to make traveling easier again. And I think even the double standards we see, I mean, if you're flying and if you enter a country by plane, the regulations are very strict. There are usually queues when you enter a country. I mean, Heathrow recently said they expect people to wait for 6 hours when you want to enter the UK. And on the other hand, and this is something we see here in Austria as well, just 45 minutes away there's Bratislava and Bratislava Airport, the capital of Slovakia. If you fly into Bratislava and go to Vienna by car, there's nothing. So probably you have to show a test, but not even that they would force you to show a test. So I think we urgently need our governments to better cooperate, to coordinate, and to use the means of the digital age to make traveling easier. So I think it's not that much about airport processes. I think everything is in place to improve the processes at the airport. I think there are already a lot of people who experiment with biometrics and everything, but all this does not work if a person has to go to the check-in desk to be checked there, has to go to the boarding counter to get checked again, and then queue when you enter a foreign country to be checked for the third time. So I think we need creative solutions, not necessarily for the aviation or airport processes, but for the checks the authorities are doing.
Ralf, I've seen you nodding, so you apparently agree with Julian. So what do you think? Will current regulations remain in place?
No, I fully 100% agree with Julian. I have experienced all these things he just mentioned by myself in the last couple of months, flying to India, flying to United States and to some countries in Europe, and it's really, to be quite honest and fair, a mess what we experience, because not that just even states, countries and regions have their own regulations, it also changes on a week-by-week basis. I think that's a key issue, so we do not really have confidence anymore in that travel industry, and that is what we have to bring back. And we have to streamline that via IATA, via ACI, to make sure we have the same regulations in place all over the world, more or less. I think we will see, unfortunately, most of the measures in place unless most of the people of the world are vaccinated. I mean, right now we have, I think, a 50% first vaccination rate in Germany, 20% second. That's still not very high, but there is a lot of countries, especially in poorer countries, who are not vaccinated at all, and that will take another 12 to 18 months, I assume. And as long as this virus can more or less travel free around the globe, I think we will see those measures in place to a certain extent. Whereas I hope that digitalization will help us to speed up processes again. Right now you have to show 3, 4, 5 different documents at the check-in. Every check-in agent seems to handle the check-in differently. Even the people are not trained properly. So it's really sometimes a long queue for a very easy process, which you could do at home in the previous time before COVID, and now you have to spend about 32 minutes or even 1 or 2 hours at the airport to just get your boarding pass, and you even don't have a luggage to check in. So I think that's something we have to work on quickly. I hope that at least the European digital vaccine pass now helps a little bit on that one. But that will stay. I think on the other side, I'm sure that from a personal perspective, a lot of more people will wear masks also in the future. I think people got used to a face mask. And I mean, you saw that in the previous time already in Asia. A lot of people have been wearing that to just make sure they don't infect themselves with a virus. And I'm sure that somehow that habit could stay for a longer period. And of course, on the other side, as Julian mentioned, new technologies like biometrics now will speed up to make sure we have a much more touchless and seamless journey at the airport.
We're going to talk about the seamless passenger journey a bit later on. Güklu, I want to ask you, like, what adaptations are required in regards to COVID measures on airports or in the aviation industry in general?
I couldn't agree more with my fellow panelists. I was just listening, smiling, because the reason why I couldn't be in Vienna today in person is because I'm not allowed to travel to Vienna without any quarantine. And I was just in Italy and Spain last week. I'm allowed to travel to the rest of Europe, but I'm not allowed to Vienna. This is not a critique, but unfortunately, we are in definite need of digitalization and standardization of these regulations by the governments, and hopefully the work is under progress and it will come soon. I believe some of these standards are here to stay, as my colleagues just mentioned. I think the increased demand for hygiene is here to stay. We need to match the increased expectation of travelers in terms of cleanliness and safety in all aspects of their journey. The need for touchless and digital products, as mentioned, will be increasing as well. We need to keep investing in our digital transformation as the travelers continue to look for new ways to minimize interactions with others and manage their stress levels as a result of the pandemic, eventually getting back to travel. What I don't believe is what is not going to stay, and I hope not, is the masks. There is a tremendous effort for vaccination throughout the world. As the effort for vaccination increases, we will start to see less and less masks around us contributing to travelers coming back faster. That is certainly the key to have a faster recovery for travel.
A seamless passenger journey, we just heard the term before, became a vital element in adapting to new standards and changes in general. So, Bart, what trends are to be expected in this regard?
First, I want to also express that what was mentioned before really resonates, is so recognizable. So relevant what has been said, which brings me to the second word of the year after resilience, it is relevance. And for me, when we talk about seamless passenger journey, in general, for me, the key is, and this is so logical and so obvious and so well known, but still, it's all about what it means in terms of perception and relevance for your passenger and for your customer. And of course, what is relevance is not based on your airport experience, relevance or your travel experience. Relevance is based on what and your behavior and what you see in daily life everywhere. And so from that perspective, I think there is no alternative than to make sure whatever makes sense and what is really relevant for a human being is that you include this into your airport service. So logical, but still so difficult to do. We heard things like at the same time, check-in is only taking longer today, which of course is very obvious. At the same time, there's a need for control. We heard about biometrics. In my personal view, what we believe in is that biometrics indeed will come soon, but first more for security reasons than for convenience reasons in many kind of areas. And this will be, in our view, a little bit confusing. So we truly believe in trying to map really in detail what is the journey, that the passenger is going through, the different steps that he had, be it in an arriving journey, be it in a departing journey, being in transfer, and look where can we add most relevance and where it can help for that passengers to create this perception of being seamless, knowing that in reality today you need to fill in more documents than 10 years ago. So from that perspective, and in these past elements, we truly see a lot of potential for technology, for digitalization, for these kind of aspects, but really on a small size, on things were really to create kind of rest, take away the stress that passengers have, and at the same time create a positive wow effect that people see, this is something which is relevant and is helping me in my day-to-day life. And that's really what we focus on and what we believe is a little bit the future, but given the situation of the whole sector, I truly do believe, I'm an optimist, but it might go a little bit slower than initially expected. At the same time for us, and it's less visible, and it's less agile and less MVP, and it's a bit more fundamental. I truly do believe that the need for more operational business process transformation is becoming so visible. If I look at some of the things which really make a difference in being seamless, that is not visible for the customer, but is done in the processes behind, I truly do believe that due to all the focus on digitalization that we have, also evolution in other sectors, that this really transformation of business processes will go faster compared to the past.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Quickly, do you agree with Bart, or what do you expect? What trends do you expect in regards to a seamless passenger journey?
I do agree with him, and as much as he's optimist, I'm a positive person, and I always like to keep my positivity, and we believe the passenger recovery will be much faster than expected. Our surveys justified that 97% of customers are willing to travel again. We see this motivation with the rising personal conscious traveler. Travelers are ready to spend much more than before on hygiene and for comfortable expectations. We're also following the evaluation of trends, try to capture more the changing patterns of customer behaviors. The positive inside of travel recovery is encouraging us to invest more for an elevated customer experience. Digitalization is essential for a seamless passenger journey. We were focused on big data for many years. Digitalization agenda was more relying on a single customer view and automation tools around these algorithms. Today, we are discussing AI, AR in providing customer experience, which is beyond our prior expectations. Moreover, the change in customer behavior and emerging trends for post-pandemic will help us more than ever to position lounges in our business as isolated safe zones. The travel industry is becoming more responsible on behalf of the travelers. Insights also show that customers prefer the brands that continue to invest for the well-being and environment for sustainability. So well-being should be another concern while planning our value propositions and designing the customer journey. The amenities we provide in the lounges help us to care about our passengers' health, should be extended for families and their pets eventually. Our ultimate goal is to show that lounges are cozy and safe zones, and they can have a break during their journey, fulfilling any kind of their needs. We integrate all these facts in our strategy internally and communicate on all global platforms. This year, we added 12 new lounges in the network at a difficult time, and we will continue to invest in our digital for automation and less very touchless journey, while building digital architecture under a marketplace and support with loyalty programs for tailor-made personalized offers. This is the key to enhance seamless passenger journey, and we believe it's just the beginning for all of us.
All right, yeah, thank you. So the term seamless passenger journey often only refers to the stay at the airport. But Ralf, how comprehensive should a seamless passenger journey model actually be, and what does it require?
I think in my view, just looking at the stage where the passenger arrives at the airport and goes to the gate is not enough. I think we have to start when a passenger really starts looking for a flight, booking the flight, and then supporting the passenger more or less from home to the gate, and then the same way from the gate back to his final destination. So I think that's a full journey we are looking at Munich Airport. So the door-to-door navigation is a very important ingredient, especially in mega cities like New York or Sao Paulo, where you can have travel times from your city center destination to the airport up to several hours. It's very important, at least for me, for a frequent traveler, to understand what is the situation today and how long and how early do I have to start my journey. I think that's an important information which is not available to the passenger. On the other side, there is a lot of different business partners involved in a passenger journey. It's not just the airport and it's not just the airline. There is a lot of additional service providers and service partners we are working with. At Munich Airport, for example, we have more than 500 companies and businesses located, and most of them have somehow a touch point with the passenger. So also optimizing the processes between the airport, the airline, and those business partners is a very important ingredient, especially if you have an irregular operation, when maybe there is a certain topic rising up, so that you can react quickly and everybody can adopt to the new situation. So I think that's important, and as the others said before, I think there is a lot of additional potential here. We are working at airports. It's a very high secure area. It's always referred to as critical infrastructure. And of course, easing the journey is not very easy when you deal with authorities, the federal police and the other authorities, because if you want to implement new technology, you have to really convince them with very lot of arguments, and it is a very long process. So we are now trying to implement biometrics. We are testing those already since 1 year with Lufthansa and Star Alliance. It works very well. I also tested it personally several times. It's really great. On the other side, we have tested new security lanes to speed up the security check. I mean, as you all know, in Europe, you have to take out your laptop, you have to take out your fluids. With the new commuter tomograph scanners, you can avoid that. And it's really a very quick process. You just put your hand luggage there, you take off your jacket, and it's about 3 times quicker than before. I think that's kind of easy possibilities to speed up. And then on the other side, of course, as we discussed earlier, we have to make sure people can really fully check in from home. And the check-in halls, as we see them today, may not be needed anymore in the future with this huge queue set of check-in counters, because you can really somehow outsource that element to the home, including checking of the luggage, and then you just have a hole in the ground where you just throw in your luggage and that's it. Maybe that's a vision, but I think that's what we can see in maybe 5 to 10 years. And we are currently designing a new terminal, working in a new terminal project in New York with the Port Authority there, and there is already fully biometrics implemented. And I'm sure, especially on domestic travel, which is easier than international, these type of technologies will be implemented as quickly as possible.
Julian, you touched upon it before regards security and health controls. How far can innovation make everything easier in regards to health and security controls?
I mean, I think the next 12 months we are still in a transition. So I think things will still be complicated in the next 12 months. But I'm sure, I mean, like we are used to the security control today, and this is the complete normal process of a journey. I mean, this was invented or implemented 20 years ago after September 11th, and today it's part of the journey. So I'm sure we will have health checks for a relatively long time, and it will be completely automated, and it will be digital. Maybe not this summer, but hopefully next summer. And therefore I'm optimistic that these things won't hamper the travel or the journey of our passengers. And in general, I think, I mean, my favorite quote in terms of innovation is that people usually overestimate innovation on the short run and underestimate innovation on the medium to long term. So I think airport processes in 24 or 36 months from now probably won't look that much different from today. But I think 5, 6, 7 years in the future, we will see a seamless journey. We will use biometrics. We will have a different process with luggage. So I'm very optimistic that even through the need to reduce costs, and I think we will see now a number of years where our revenues are still under pressure. So I think we are forced to innovate, and therefore I'm sure that in 5, 6 years from now, the processes at the airport will be seamless, or at least closer to seamless than today.
Yeah, many thanks to all panelists for taking part in today's Trend Talk. Thanks for sharing your expertise and giving us an outlook into the future and how traveling in the future will look like. So greetings to Istanbul and Brussels. Thank you, Gükli. Thank you, Bart. Thanks for joining us.
Hopefully next time.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thanks to both of you for being live here on stage today. Many thanks. And if you want to get in touch with the speakers, please reach out to the guys from Plug and Play, and they are happy to connect you. Thank you for being part.
Thank you. What a great and insightful panel. Thank you very much to all the panelists. It was incredibly interesting. And I think, as you heard, there is a lot for us in store when it comes to the seamless passenger journey and, you know, how we can make the life of everyone traveling from point A to point B a little bit more exciting and a little bit more seamless and easy. talk about traveling, who else then to talk to than Star Alliance, one of the leading airline alliances, and I'm really excited to have Jeremy Drury, who is the CIO of Star Alliance, with me today. Jeremy, hello. Again, virtual, unfortunately, but you're still with us here. We feel your presence. Hello.
Nice to be here. Thank you very much, Nick. Looking forward to it.
Jeremy, first of all, again, welcome to also your Expo Day, because it's not just Plug and Play's Expo Day, but it's also the Expo Day of all of our partners, and it's about you, right? About the pilot projects that you've done over the past couple of months with the startups, and what's still, coming up for the next few months. And for that, I know that you've prepared a little presentation, some slides that you can share with us. And I'm really excited to share what Star Alliance and your team basically accomplished over the past couple of months. So the stage is yours, Jeremy.
Thank you very much, Nick. Just before I get stuck in, you said we're a travel company, and I'm not with you there, which is indeed a disappointment. But what I can say is that I've got a good excuse. We spent the last couple of days with our strategy teams, that's the leaders of customer experience and loyalty and IT, looking at what's next. Yes, we've had some difficult times, but it is absolutely time to look forward. And that's been a very important 2 days for us to plan out and think about the next steps for the Alliance and put some exciting things onto the agenda. Also, I want to just say I absolutely concur with the thoughts that were being presented in the last panel discussion there. Seamless travel is absolutely one of the key things that Star Alliance always looks for. I'm glad to hear that those words are being used, and with the conviction that they should be within our airport partners, and I'm very looking forward to be able to work with them. Thank you, Ralph, for the free publicity about our biometrics project as well in Munich, and rolling out very soon across the rest of the world. That's going to be something for our travelers to look out for. We've been, as you know, the travel industry comes with a lot of baggage in more ways than one. We have our own baggage product to support the member carriers, and this is key to our carriers' operations. We're processing hundreds of billions of messages a year, making sure that we can track and identify bags across the network, providing that information back to our customers through customer interfaces through the Star Alliance member applications, trying to get a better overall seamless service to our members and their customers when it comes to baggage. We have been looking at this as we go forward, and of course concerned about some of the other issues that have already been brought up today in terms of the return to travel and the additional processes that we are going to see at the airport. And we've been exploring that. And you've seen them, and you've seen this startup today already, and congratulations to Vienna. But we are very engaged with Airporter and their product, looking at how we can leverage Airporter into our baggage application, providing that end-to-end service with Airporter, enhancing to enhance both their products and ours as we continue through this. I'm not going to say post-COVID world, but I'll say recovery. I think that's a much more positive place to be. We've met Airporter through Plug and Play very early on in their process of building up their business. It's been a journey to watch them grow. Randall and his team are absolutely amazing in terms of their vision and their foresight and bringing this project together. And I'm very certain that with Airporter, we're going to be able to see a very different product coming out in its entirety. Pushing that further, as we look potentially for intermodal transportation methods and how that may impact the existing alliance structure, We will be looking for Airporter to support us in that regard, and I know that they're having some very good conversations outside of airlines. When we're looking at the Airporter solution, we are looking in a number of key areas. We want to extend beyond the traditional accepting and delivery of the bag within the airport, and of course the Airporter product allows us to do that. We can give the customer the choice from the collection point through the airport, through transfers, which of course is very important for us, and then delivering that back to the customer at the back end. And through combining Airporter's product with our baggage hub, we're very innovative with names. We will be able to provide a very holistic approach to all the stakeholders across the entire journey. And this conversation is starting with Airporter now, and we're planning to be moving pretty quickly with our thoughts in this space to be able to get us through a good POC and get to delivery. Not only have Airporter been working with Vienna earlier, as you heard, but our airline, Singapore Airlines, are launching the service with Airporter starting in London very shortly, and we'll be rolling that out as locations become available. That's a great move for us. It also supports the overall mission and discussion that we are actually having with Airporter. But please don't take it from me. I think it's important in these sessions that we also hear from from Randall himself. You've seen him once today, and I'd like you to see him again and hear things in his own words.
Hello everyone, Randall here from Airporter. I'm delighted to be able to report that over the last 6 months especially, we've been continuing to work with the team at Star Alliance on a number of strategic and new feature developments. Despite the challenges that still exist in aviation, and therefore the resource constraints that come with that, we've been able to work on a number of workshops with cross-functional teams in Star Alliance, ranging from digital to customer experience to subject matter experts in the baggage system space to their intermodal team who are focusing on a vision for greener ground transport journeys as part of aviation's recovery. And working with those teams, we've been able to advance a number of initiatives. On the one hand, when it comes to new product development and new features, as has just been talked about, we're excited about the Star Bag Hub integration, which will open up a suite of unique product features and exclusive product features for Star member carriers, which include better, improved end-to-end bag tracking that now includes off-airport bag tracking statuses, which can be consumed by airline apps and surfaced to their customers. In addition to new product developments, we've also been working with Star Alliance to take some of those developments and transpose them into new member carrier discussions to come on board with the Airporter platform. And we're delighted to be able to announce that we have signed up Singapore Airlines as a customer who we're going to be launching a POC with pretty imminently, and we have more in the pipeline. I think one of the best benefits over this difficult time in working with Star Alliance as a startup has been the ability to significantly extend and enhance our reach. Star know exactly who to speak to about the things that we're working on to elevate the visibility of the product to the right decision makers in the different member carriers. And that's enabled us to get the traction that we have done. And that is really invaluable during this time of change. So big thank you to all the team at Star, and we look forward to continuing our collaboration with you over the rest of 2021.
Thank you very much, Randall, and appreciate the words. And of course, Nick, hello, welcome back.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you, Jeremy, and also Randall. It seems Airporter is currently really a super interesting startup, and we're super delighted that also you at Star Alliance are taking the collaboration one step further. So congratulations to the entire Star Alliance team. and I just heard from the nice voices in my ear here, Jeremy, that you still have one slide, and I'm sorry, I kind of already started talking without letting you finish your presentation.
It's fine, Nick. We can have we can have that as a conversation as you want, if you would like. It's absolutely great. What I wanted to mention is additional part of the work that we've been doing over the last 6 months. It's been a crazy 6 months trying to get into a position where we are able to support our members and some of those stress points at the airport ready for when the traffic does return. And across the alliance and with the teams at the alliance offices, we've been working with a slew of startups and well-formed companies to be able to create a mechanism for enabling vaccination and health data to be easily available. I don't want to say much about it. What I do want to say at this point is that all of the companies in this space are working very hard to help us as an industry get back, and it's a pleasure to work with them. And as more of these organizations come up and start to create product in this space, we would love to hear from them. I think it's very important to make sure that this space is well covered and well understood. So with that, Nick, I'll let you take the control back.
Thank you so much, Jeremy. Yeah, there's not really much to say from my side, except of a big thank you from the entire Plug and Play Vienna team to you, to your team, to Anna Kelly, and to whom we all have the pleasure to work with at Star Alliance. So thank you very much for being such a great partner. We're looking forward to launching some really cool new pilot projects, hopefully soon. Yeah. All that's left for me from my side to say is thank you very much and a very warm servus from Vienna.
Next time I'll be there wearing a suit.
Hopefully, yeah. Take care, Jeremy.
Take care.
Bye-bye. All right, everyone. So, you heard it from Star Alliance and Jeremy. There is a lot going on in this space right now. And I'm also delighted to welcome Corinne De Favor here on stage with me. She's a Senior Manager of Operational Excellence at Brussels Airport. Corinne, it's so great that you are here with us in person. This is not something that we take for granted, so welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's so great to be here in person. It was this morning my first flight in 18 months, so I'm super thrilled as an aviation geek.
So we feel really honored that the first trip in 8 months was to Vienna and to be here with us today. And I also know that you brought some interesting slides. You will talk about pilot projects that you did at Brussels Airport. And since I'm already super excited and can't wait to hear about them, I'm just gonna hand over to you, and please take it away. The stage is yours.
Great, thank you so much. So today I'm going to talk to you about a number of the ongoing cooperations between members of the Plug and Play family and Brussels Airport. I must say that we're having a lot of talks with a lot of partners, and it's amazing to see how interesting views come up in those conversations. But today I'll focus on 3 specific topics. It's about self-connecting passengers, loyalty, and last but certainly not least, how to predict the future. So self-connecting passengers in the first place is the first challenge we're trying to tackle with an innovative solution. And we're trying and looking for a particular offering for those type of passengers, and especially how to connect their bags through Brussels Airport. For that, we're currently exploring with the company Airsiders, who have got a great technology in place, and we're really exploring how we can interface, connect that with our baggage handling system. So more to come about that. The second opportunity or the second challenge that we're trying to tackle is then how can we reward our loyal customers or loyal passengers, and how can we better interact with them. And for that we're talking with Splio, and Splio, their mobile wallets will be implemented shortly after summer, so that is something that is coming up very, very concretely. And then the third opportunity or the third challenge is really, I think, the greatest challenge of all. How can we predict the future in these very unpredictable times? And for that, I will introduce to you airport intelligence. Airport Intelligence, quite a particular cooperation between Brussels Airport because it's a 100% daughter company. We were founded just in April this year, and our mission is to bring consulting services, but also proven methodologies and tools to other airports, but also to hospitals, venues, and the transports and logistics industry. And we really want to bring that knowledge of operational excellence, airfield renovation management, safety and security to those companies. Today I will focus on the solutions we have in place, or at least part of the solutions that we have in place for operational planning and optimization. And for that I will demo to you our operational planning product suite. The product suite is composed out of 3 main components. The forecasting and the planning, which we do as of month -6 up until day -1 in our Sybil platform. The Sybil platform is the single source platform where we run our machine learning models with very high accuracies, even in these pandemic times, where we get to 86% of accuracy. Pre-pandemic, we were at 98%. Then we move on to the Heli platform, which is the real-time monitoring and mitigating platform, where our operational coordination center is monitoring the operations as of day -2, to be a bit proactive, up until the day of the operations. And once we move out of the day of operations, we have a lot of great dashboards in Tableau to monitor performance and continuously improve. And today I will dig deeper into Heli, so our monitoring and mitigating platform. This is really the single source of information for the entire airport community. So not only the airport, but also handlers, airlines are taking this very easy interface, agile development together with the end users, very easy to use. Not a single day of training went into it, and it's really the place where they find, of course, all the flight information with quick and easy filters, only showing the information in a first glance what they actually need. Events that can have an impact on the operations. But this is where it comes to really the core of our platform is to show insights to the people, not overload them with data. And this is what you can see here on the Meteo overview. It shows them the insights. Pay attention in the afternoon, we might have thunder showers, which will impact, of course, the airport operations. And this brings me really to the opening screen of our Heli platform. This is this great dashboard who immediately shows what is the actual performance of the airport now and in the coming 2 hours, because it not only shows how we are performing now, but also with predictive waiting times, for instance. And that is really the core of the platform. It continuously compares predicted, forecasted and actual demand with the capacity in place for passengers, flights, bags, PRMs, buses, you name it, everything is in there. And so people can really start mitigating before an actual bottleneck occurs. Not only great graphs are presented, but we also have a great digital twin, like here our screening platform, where you can easily see which screening lanes are active, what is the current throughput, are there any technical issues, and what can I do to prevent any queues, because that's really what we want to avoid in these days from happening. Also on the air side, which stands are available? Are there any movements ongoing? Are there any stand equipment unavailable? Works planned? Everything can be found back very easy in this single source of information. And then the last feature, but certainly not the last feature within Heli I want to show you is our connection tool. A great important value also for us as a Star Alliance hub, where we can quickly and easily see if there are any passengers or bags that potentially will be misconnecting. We continuously compare the amount of time that a passenger or a bag has between 2 connecting flights and the amount of time that he needs, comparing or taking into account the walking distance, taking into account the predictive waiting times at the moment that the person will enter the queue at the border gate, for instance, up until the moment that he arrives at the gate. And this shows really great insights, because in that way we can accommodate passengers upon arrival and say, hold on, do not rush, do not stress to get to your next aircraft. Unfortunately, you missed that flight, but we rebooked you already on a next flight. Here's just a voucher, enjoy the airport, and you'll be flying in a couple of hours' time. And this was just part of what I have to offer you today, or to show you today. Our plans for the future is certainly not to stop here. We were able to launch a number of great features even during the pandemic, so innovation continued during the pandemic, and in a couple of months, coming years, we certainly want to expand on further transversely linking things, doing what-if scenarios, pre-operations and during the operations, and adding even more machine learning models. And of course, not only in Brussels Airport, we also want to bring that to other airports all over the world. So if you would have any questions, do not hesitate to come back to me.
Great, thank you so much. Really exciting, and we've been working together for quite some while, and I also had the pleasure to, talk with you and discuss airport intelligence with you. So it is great what you've built here and what, what the roadmap ahead looks like. So really excited for that. And also, again, thank you very much for flying in. And again, 18 months. This is crazy, right? So let's hope that this is
the last time.
This is not the last time. Yeah. Now from now on, it picks up.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Bye.
All right, everyone. Brussels Airport. This was our last pilot project presentation of our corporate partners, but we're still not done yet. It gets more exciting now. And for that, I'm really excited to introduce Ben again on the stage. And Ben has the honor to award our well sought after innovation award. And Ben, stage is yours.
Exactly. I have the pleasure to moderate the grand finale of today's event, the Plug and Play Global Innovation Award. We give this award to reward and to give a nice prize for exceptional performance to the partner with really an outstanding performance in working with startups, with young tech companies to drive innovation and to drive digitization in their corporations. You have seen today for both sessions, for smart cities as well as travel and hospitality, how well all of our partners are doing in working with startups, the cool projects they have implemented. So probably every one of them would have deserved this award, but one partner in particular really stood out in their performance in working with startups. This partner I'm referring to joined the platform not even a year ago, last August to be specific, and since then they've basically launched a new pilot every single month, and they don't show any sign of slowing down. And many of you probably already know the partner I'm referring to, but let me just keep up the tension. The Global Innovation Award, the Plug and Play Global Innovation Award 2021 goes to Fraport! Klaus, congratulations. Congratulations. Thank you so much for keeping us busy. This award is yours, for you and the team.
Thank you, Plug and Play. Thank you, Ben. And a special thanks to my team at Fraport. It's been a tremendous year with all of you. And this award is dedicated to the team because you've done a just tremendous job over the last few months. And I mean, we started that activity, let's call it activity, and not work. We started that in the middle of the pandemic, and it's been rough, to be honest. But the success rate of all our MVPs proves the concept so far. And we do get more and more positive feedback from our organization, and I'm quite happy about that. And so I'm looking forward to many more projects, many more work together, but quite interesting topics coming up next. And so it's going to be a good partnership onwards. And thanks again for this prestigious award and for today's demo day here in Vienna. Thanks.
Very well deserved. You can stay on stage. We'll actually get Katinka and Nick on stage to say goodbye.
Klaus, congratulations again.
Klaus will stay with us
here you go.
on stage.
It's really well deserved.
Good job, Klaus.
It's been a pleasure. It was cool. It was fun.
This was really fun.
Yes. and it says, thank you for attending. And this goes out to you, everyone, to everyone in front of the screens who joined us today on today's Expo Day, who listened in to the Smart Cities panels, to the travel panels, to all the pilot projects, and also who joined for the award ceremony and for this Innovation Award of Fraport.
Perfect. We wish you a wonderful summer. Stay healthy. Stay motivated for innovation. Reach out to Plug and Play if you haven't done so, by the way. If someone is out there who doesn't know us personally, it's worth a call. Get in touch with us. And for all the others that we know, we're looking forward to our bi-weekly calls, to our email exchanges, and to the next upcoming events in person. We promised that was the last one virtually. We see you in September in person here in Vienna. Have a nice summer break. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye from Vienna.
How do you track your team's innovation efforts? However that is, we've got an easier way. Let us introduce Playbook. Playbook is Plug and Play's innovation software. It is an exclusive tool only available for our ecosystem's corporate partners. With it, you and your team will be able to browse your curated startups database, create, discover, and rate lists of startups, track your engagement, pilots, and investments, analyze data from the tech ecosystem, organize private sessions with select startups, and so much more. Hundreds of corporations count on Playbook to empower their innovation journey. Get in touch to start using Playbook today.